Paul Vallas, I don't think much of Paul Vallas. And I don't think much, even though he was thinking about coming back to run for Cook County Board President as a Republican. In fact, I wrote a commentary that for a morning show that I used to do commentary for Don Wayne Roma on WLS that was less than charitable to Paul Vallas. Those folks, Arnie Duncan too, presided over the worst public school system in America and did not move the needle an iota. The Paul Vallas experience in Philadelphia, that's actually not true. That's more kind of Paul Vallas myth creation. He was actually forced out of Philadelphia. In Louisiana right now, in New Orleans, he's the #3 guy. He's not a policymaker down there. He's not the school superintendent. But Paul Vallas, again, here's my thing. I am sick of the innocent bystander routine. Mayor Daley has press conferences where he gets up there and says, somebody releases a report, like the Commercial Club released a report on CPS 2 weeks ago that was a scathing indictment, an unusual scathing indictment from a relatively squishy business group in the city. And Daley says, yeah, somebody's got to do something about those schools. I mean, like he's having a dissociative episode. Like he is not the guy in charge of the schools. Well, that's what Duncan and Vallas did too. It was all myth creation. We moved this test score by 2 percentage points, or we moved this average daily attendance number by 1 percentage point. I'm so sick of the focus on inputs. I want to talk about outputs. I want to talk about success stories in CPS. I want to understand how somebody can be listed as attending school for 4 years, even though they weren't there for 1 day. So it's just scandal after scandal, and it was just all kind of propaganda from Paul Vallas. They didn't move the needle one iota. During Paul Vallas and Arnie Duncan's term, for example, I mean, everybody praises charter schools, right? Which is competition, by the way. Only 4% of CPS students get to go to charter schools. It's good enough for 4%, why isn't it good enough for the other 96? I don't know. Neither apparently did Paul Vallas and Arnie Duncan and Rich Daley, because in the decade that those guys were in charge, New York City increased its number of charter schools by 10-fold. Right? Joel Klein in New York City. Michelle Reed in Washington, D.C., they had that pilot scholarship program that Barack Obama and his buddies just killed. And we stayed stagnant. No charter schools until just last legislative session for 8 years between 2001 and 2009. If they're so great, why aren't there more of them? Why do only 4% of the kids get to go there?